The MG Show. The show is about to start. Buckle up, 'cause here we go!
What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show. Welcome to the MG Show. Shady, welcome. It's Trump Day. Trump Day?
Welcome to you, sir. It is Trump Day, Wednesday, in April, November the 12th.
Wow. So, I'm like looking like, oh my God, X is a cesspool of BS right now, isn't it?
Man, I tell you, it is like a lightning round thunder full of BS over there. And it's interesting too, the way it's feeding it to you. It's feeding it to you like it's candy from every single angle you could imagine. And boy, there's not very many smart people, are there?
Well, or they're knowingly trying to make you think about something, look here, not there, of what actual, people are doing. Let's take, for example, Kash Patel. The attacks are coming from MAGA, quote unquote, or fake MAGA, I like to call them, because we've mapped the entire network. We know who they are. We know what they're doing. And it's pretty amazing. And Shady, you showed me this morning. Chanel Rian is right on board. She understands what's happening. Do you understand what's happening, guys? I do.
But it's interesting because what's happening is they're trying to generate an environment to where you are somehow, if you're rational or sane, you're somehow the lone wolf in the environment. Therefore, that you will be quiet. This is exactly the way they were trying to shut MAGA up 10 years ago.
Groupthink. Yeah. And I think individual for myself, I know all of our listeners do too. And, sometimes people say stuff that, we don't, wouldn't say, so, it's one of those things where people are kind of lost in a fog of psyops right now. And we don't know who's who and what's what. Just trust yourself, guys, and make your own minds up. And, I know there's a lot of good people out here. And seeing all of this, I know a lot of the people here understand the network because we've been attacked by them for 7 years, guys. 7 years.
It boils down to what it is that they can get you to believe, okay? And you are in charge of you. And this is what we've been saying. We are in charge of us. And so as being in charge of us, what are we doing? What we're doing is we're trying to follow the breadcrumbs, to follow the trail of the truth. What can be proven and what cannot be proven in real time. That's exactly what we're doing here with all of you guys. And so whenever you believe something, quote unquote, or you think something to be true, you've personalized it. And this is what you have to understand. Once you've personalized something, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with personalizing something that you believe in. The problem comes whenever you can't unpersonalize it, when you find better information. This is where everybody gets stuck. You get stuck thinking that because you personalize something, you thought it to be true. Whenever you see information that shows you that that's not true, you can't unpersonalize it and move to that. The literal watermark of intelligence is people that can find new information and change their mind. 90% of people just want the information they've already got.
For example, I see Anita McGroin. It's the funniest name, by the way. Anita, welcome to the MG Show. We really appreciate you. Because Shady was saying that too, because when we get more information, we change our minds. Anita has been doing a great job exposing Kyle Seraphin and others, even though like Dan Bongino gave him a platform. Maybe Dan Bongino has different information now, right? You know, we were kind of hard on Dan, and then Dan actually unblocked me on X because I think we understood, like he understands who, you know, people might make a mistake on their judgment of people, right? And so I want to welcome Anita. Thank you very much. Go follow her on X as well. I've been really enjoying her posts and the name Shady Groove, Anita McGroin. I think it's Anita McGroin on Twitter as well. Anita, can you drop your @ in there? Because we're the lone wolves out here right now, guys. Everybody else is group thinking. You know I've talked about Alexis Wilkins, and so I see all these bad negative posts about Alexis Wilkins, calling her Mossad with a very loose, sauce, actually no sauce whatsoever. They're saying that she worked at PragerU, okay? And then the CEO had Mossad ties, so that means she's Mossad, right? Oh, everybody at PragerU is now Mossad, right? Isn't that how it works, Shady Grove? That's true, right? That's how we prove things. Loose connections.
That's how the left proves things. And what you're saying is let's be serious right now. That you're making a great point. This is exactly the way the left proves things to you. Yeah. So this is what you have to do. You have to wait a minute. These ex-Democrats are acting exactly like the left, pretending to be conservative, and you don't think like that or act like that ever in your life. And all of a sudden you realize, oh, wait a minute, all these people that claim that they're MAGA have been some of the most foul-mouthed people that I've ever seen attacking me whenever I stood up to this nonsense. We stood up to this nonsense a few years ago. Boy, oh boy, do they surely start talking like Antifa talks whenever they're at a Charlie Kirk event, don't they?
That's right. Anita McGroin on X is at Queen Anita DBS, at Queen ANITA DBS. Go give her a follow over there. Tell her that the MG Show sent you. Because, when we find people that, are kind of like trying to help people out, like disparaging Kash Patel is disparaging the Trump administration. Okay. Correct. I mean, people were saying that I wore red shoes, Shady, from the same network of the person that got fired within 23 days. Okay. Do you think that person that got fired in 23 days from the Trump administration resigned? That's what you do in corporations. You get forced to resign, okay? He was fired for lying to Pence and Trump, okay? That person got fired. Do you think he likes President Trump? Probably not. Do you think, for example, Kyle Seraphin, who was not given a position in the FBI, do you think he might hold a little bit of a grudge? More than likely. How about this other guy, Elijah Schaffer? Do you think he might, have a grudge too because he was terminated from the Blaze for sexual allegations, and Kyle, Seraphin was suspended from the FBI for an ongoing Office of Professional Responsibility. So the people that are screaming the loudest probably have an agenda, and that's to disparage President Trump and the administration, and that's really it. And I want to go ahead and, Shady, I want to play this Chanel Rion because we've been saying this right here on the show, and she nailed it very succinctly, Shady.
Yeah, let's go ahead. I've got a number of things. Let's go.
All right, let's do this. Here we go.
Brennan, Comey, Clapper, Rice, Wray, this close to being marched off in leg irons because of Kash Patel's exposing their roles in the Russia hoax. Yet, it's become extremely popular these days to slam FBI Director Kash Patel, to criticize him for not doing his job, to say Kash is abusing his position. And it's coming from the right. Here's FBI whistleblower Kyle Seraphin on Alex Jones slamming Kash on his use of a private jet to travel anywhere.
After the party, and after the ass chewing, I guess, he turned around and flew up none other to Nashville, Tennessee, which is where the girlfriend lives. So the person that kicked off the scandal was that Kash Patel flew up to State College, watched his girlfriend sing the national anthem, and then followed her home or maybe transported her home to Nashville.
Kash then fired an agent presumably involved in publishing Kash's jet movements, to which the viral podcaster Sean Ryan weighed in with a now deleted tweet writing, "If you don't want people tracking your jet, quit flying around on the taxpayer's dime." What's the most high-profile law enforcement head in the Trump administration supposed to take? An Uber? JetBlue? How about Amtrak? Maybe just drive himself. Problem is, Kash has no choice. He is required to take that jet so long as he is director at FBI. In 2011, the U.S. Department of Justice changed its internal travel rules so that the FBI director became a required use traveler. This means the director must fly only on FBI, DOJ-owned jets for every trip, official business, family visits, vacations, anything else. Commercial airlines are forbidden as director. Why? For one, the director is on call 24/7 for national crises. Second, FBI jets are wired with secure classified systems, skiff in the skies, that let the director speak to the White House, field offices, or overseas agents without risk of eavesdropping. Makes sense. Before 2011, directors could fly commercial for personal trips and just repay coach fare. The new rule closed that policy for security reasons. Yes, this is why Sean Ryan deleted his tweet. He realized how ignorant he was. No matter, the left has picked this up and they're running with it. Attacking Kash Patel's girlfriend, Alexis Wilkins, at every turn while they're at it. Now, Kyle and Alex are stalwarts in the conservative movement. I know Kyle. I respect his insights. You've seen him on the show. But I also know Kash. Back when Kash was going through confirmation, it felt like I was the lone voice saying with full confidence Kash was not going to have any problems getting through. I stood alone. I said Kash is clean. He has the credentials, and they won't be able to deny him. He'll disclose and play it by the book. And I was right. He passed confirmation. To a lot of people's surprise, frankly. Kash isn't some closet weirdo, though. He doesn't have a gambling or drug addiction. He's got nothing for them to hang him with. He's hustled together deals all over the world and made money. Not illegal. He's disclosed it. So the enemy has nothing to attack this kind of guy with except one thing. They attack their loved ones. In Kash's case, his girlfriend, Alexis Wilkins. And they went for the jugular with her, calling her a Mossad agent, with no evidence, by the way, calling her a honeypot. How could a woman this attractive go for Kash, they'd ask. I think that was literally their sole basis of evidence. And mind you, this was all coming from the right. Something bad is brewing, and I'm about to say series of things that might be very unpopular. Another piece of ignorance shouted out by the right is how Kash isn't cleaning out the FBI quick enough. Now, I agree. There are more people that need to be fired at the FBI. I think they should all be fired. But there are some hard realities we do need to acknowledge. Kash Patel will be fighting it out in court for the rest of his life just based off the 3 months of his taking office. And not for anything he's done wrong, no. The moment Trump leaves office, Kash will be the target of every single disgruntled deep stater who spent their career at the FBI and the Justice Department destroying America and Americans. Think about that for a second. They will channel all of that on Kash after this administration. Critics like Kyle have pointed out very specific examples, and we've talked about it here. Why are J6 agents getting promotions inside the agency? Why is the enemy flying Kash's planes? Why are Russiagate architects still getting a salary? Great questions all. Alex Jones, Sean Ryan, Tim Dillon are gobbling it all up, and they're spewing it back to their millions of conservative viewers. But none of them have a leg to stand on to even begin to criticize Kash. When the going got tough, for example, Sean Ryan crumbled, ran off to Bogota, and loaded himself up on Colombian cocaine and prostitutes. This while Kash was taking on the Miami drug lords as a public prosecutor and then proceeded to unravel the entire Russiagate hoax out of Hillary Clinton's cauldron. That is what this is really about. Now that Ratcliffe Gabbard and, as of yesterday, U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan have declassified very damning notes and documents showing James Comey, John Brennan, James Clapper, Susan Rice, Christopher Wray were all in on the so-called Hillary plan, the plan to distract from Hillary's scandals and hatch this plot to take down Donald Trump and tie him to fake stories of Russian collusion. The plan that Kash himself exposed is now confirmed and has the deep state deeply upset, to say the least. They're about to be hauled off in leg irons all because of Kash, and as FBI Director, you didn't hear a lot about this. Kash was the one who found Comey's handwritten notes, proving Comey's role in the Russiagate conspiracy. Kash was the one who found the 5 burn bags slated to be destroyed containing the Russiagate Hillary plan his predecessor tried to hide. Kash is at the FBI and he's still unraveling the Russiagate scandal because he remembers. He won't forget. As to my friend Kyle Seraphin, I do respect you and I look forward to having you on show soon to debate all of this. But to the millions of Americans watching this saga unfurl, I have to believe the bigger picture of how dangerous Kash is to the deep state is more important than a handful of plane rides that are mandated by Congress. A nothing burger.
Wow. Okay. So, Shady, we've been reporting on all of this for a long time, Shady Groove. In fact, 2018 timeframe, 2019. Okay. So we've been all over this. You know, we understand about Russiagate. Who was in Russia in 2015, 2016?
Flynn.
3 stars. Right. He just fell into the trap, right? Or was he there to hide the chain of command illegalities by the Barack Hussein Obama administration? Did he knowingly or unknowingly, work in this plan? We've got questions. And when you question them, guess what happens? You get blocked, Shady. I also have questions about Roger Stone, General Flynn, Oath Keepers, Proud Boys, 1AP at January 6th. If you look at what happened, why did Roger Stone need a pardon after January 6th? He wrote President Trump to get a pardon after January 6th. Do you really think these people are our friends and real MAGA?
What we need to do is we have to write. We talked earlier about how you learn to believe what you believe and how you find information and what the information is and how you drill down on it and how to understand it. You have to figure out, why are they upset?
Brennan,
Okay,
Comey.
why are they really upset at Kash? Do you believe the reasons that they are stating? This is the key moment. Do you believe the reasons that they are stating that they are upset at Kash? Is it really, now that you just watched her explain that so eloquently, do you really believe that it's that he's not doing the right things? He did find the burn bags. He did find the actual note that said HRC was going to use Russia to smear Donald Trump. And as a matter of fact, what Jeff just mentioned about the 3-star, where the 3-star had already been in Russia around this time, all the pictures had been taken. He was going to be put with the person whoever became her opponent. Okay, it was all set up. The whole thing was set up. And I want to read you this real quick because our audience, probably a number of you, aren't seeing the craziness that's out there. So I'm going to read you this itemized list real quick from this dumb uncensored AI account that is now go uncensored because they're a ban evading so that they could come back and attack Alexis Wilkins. Alexis Wilkins has contributed to PragerU for years. Melissa Straight does run PragerU and did serve a unit in the IDF. Anyone in the IDF swears fealty and allegiance to Israel. Alexis Wilkins is 20 years younger than Kash Patel. Oh. Kash Patel is not Christian. Wilkins not only is, but has been working with a self-described Christian-oriented organization, Turning Point USA, for a decade. Do you see what they're saying? I'm saying it like that so you can see the faux outrage. Because you can take anything, you can take anything. You can say, grilled cheese sandwich.
Grilled cheese sandwich.
Exactly. This is what they're doing. They're saying this stuff like these freaking idiots, man. I'm telling you, it's driving me crazy.
Yeah. And first of all, too, remember Jerome Corsi had ties to Mossad, which brings you to Alex Jones. So who's really Mossad? See, we've learned the term projection.
Yes, because what they are doing is they are running an operation. The operation to what? The operation to twist, turn, deceive, divide, and destroy your mind and make it to where you can't figure anything out. Therefore, the landscape is fertile for control because you have no clue where you're at or where you're going. You're bumping into walls like an idiot. 1 minute you're like believing JFK Jr. is alive. The next minute you're believing devolution. You're like a ping pong ball and you're not realizing that the room is in charge of you, not the person batting you around.
That's right. And then you see, all of these people, affiliate 1, affiliate 2, affiliate 3, all marching to the same beat. It's not organic, guys. It's happening. It's funny because, I look at, my homepage now because I posted, in a positive favor for Alexis Wilkins. I get all these stupid, where was one that I mean, my God, these people are just, let me find one because it's that disgusting, guys.
Because the basically what you're talking about is all the bot networks that did all this stuff to us are doing the exact same thing right now to Alexa. All they have to do is create a target and then they turn all their minions on the target and they just start making up any crazy thing that pops into their head and type it.
So here it is, Shady Goof. I think this is a disgusting post. And why am I seeing this crap on my timeline? Probably because, I talked about it. But this Leonarda Joni, who kind of resembles Alexis, which is weird, says she's genuinely ugly. The plastic surgery and makeup still can't cover up her demonic soul. Are you going to sue me for that too, Alexis Jew Wilkins? Look at that crap. It's a bald-faced lie. She's a Protestant, Shady Goof. She's not Jewish. I mean, what is wrong with these people? Seriously.
They're twisting anything that they can twist to make a narrative, to generate. They've got to generate angst and anxiety and confusion and hatred, all of these different things. They have to make it look like that real people are thinking these things. You cannot go outside of Twitter and find one single human being that thinks that somehow Kash Patel having a girlfriend that's a country music singer is being controlled. Like the reason they're trying to connect her to Israel is because they want you to think that Kash Patel is covering up for Israel. So in other words, Israel is controlling Donald Trump. This whole narrative, anybody that's telling you that Israel is controlling Donald Trump are part of the Mossad network. They're part of the intelligence community network. They've been doing this nonsense. Twitter looks like 8chan 8 years ago right now.
Yep. I see some new names in here, too. I might have to thank Anita for that. I see Bandit Darville. Thank you very much for joining. And he needs a red castle, or she. I don't know if you're, but thank you very much for coming. I saw another McGroin up in here, too. So thank you so much, guys, for coming to the MG show. We do set ourselves apart. Now, just full disclosure, we thought that Q was talking positively about General Flynn until we found out that he wasn't, okay? That Q was actually exposing General Flynn. And our movement was infiltrated by a bunch of anons to make Q look ridiculous. That's why a lot of people are saying that, Q is a psyop. And it is a psyop. It's a psyop against the deep state and even possibly General Flynn. Do you remember when Q says autists need Red Bull? Do you remember that Red Bull post? Do you remember who offered Red Bull to General Flynn when he took over the national security advisory role? The baton? Passed the baton? Susan Rice says you're going to need Red Bull. And do you think, Israel, we're saving it for last for very specific reasons, guys? We're not saying that, we're anti-Jewish or anti-Israel. We're anti-corrupt government, okay? Do you think by any chance that Israel could have a corrupt government? Absolutely. Do you think we do or did? Or yes, absolutely. New sounds.
Now they're calling us pro-Zionists.
Susan Rice, yeah. Now I'm a pro-Zionist because I'm America first?
And I'm MAGA. Shady is MAGA, according to MJ Truth. I'm Make Israel Great Again because I'm standing up to their nonsense, the Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones group of idiots, guys. And look at the audience that they garnered all of their audience by being, and this is such a good example of how this all works because this is exactly what they did to us in Discord. Everybody like is on the same page and agrees, and we're all doing the same thing and work together. And all of a sudden, people at the top start to turn, and then they start to like introduce bad information amongst the group, and then the group divides itself up. That's what's going on right now on a national level with these large-scale influencers like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson.
Yeah. And let me just show you this. This is Anons were asked if autists need Red Bull, okay? Because everybody was like all up in Flynn, like, oh, Flynn's a hero, Flynn's a hero, Flynn's a hero on the boards. Normies only watch CNN. They don't know anything of this happening. We are too smug. Hope not. Might as well go sit in the CIA. Russia grounding our military planes in Syria. Military aircraft crashing in U.S. Coincidence? Autists need Red Bull? Well, here is... the mood was light when President Barack Hussein Obama's former national security advisor, Susan Rice, took the stage mid-January with President Donald Trump's incoming successor, Michael Flynn, who only lasted for 23 days. Rather than pass the baton to Flynn, she said she should give him a case of Red Bull. I actually have it right here. Let me just see. Coincidence? I'm sure.
That instead of a baton, I'd better be passing you a case of Red Bull.
Wow. So I think, the reason why the Q movement got disbanded or, disparaged was because they know what's coming. And Kash Patel, name to remember, is doing it. So these people are anti-Q, anti-Trump, and anti-Make America Great Again, Shady.
And I want everybody to understand that what was happening during the time that the posts were coming out was targeting Alex Jones. Okay. What the posts were trying to do was they were trying to disassociate them with Alex Jones and the InfoWars network. There was a very specific reason that they were trying to do that. Right now, that should be becoming more and more clear. What you're seeing is you're either seeing people that are legitimately fooled by these people, and they're going along with it because they go downstream and they listen to what they said, and people that look like they're smarter than them and dress nice and do TV make it seem like that they're believable, or they're doing it on purpose, and they are intentionally, if they're doing it on purpose, they are intentionally undermining Donald Trump's administration. What we see as the greatest administration in the history of the world. Why in the world would these people, quote unquote, that have been trying to help us for this whole time immediately turn? And how would the MG show have been able to sit here 2 years ago? Literally, we have posts that can show you 2 years ago where we told you that if Donald Trump won, that all these people would do exactly 100% what they're doing right now. And we're only 1 year into this administration.
Yeah. And let's just keep going with this decode because, this is, might as well go sit and say, Russia grounding our military planes in Syria, military aircraft crashing in U.S. Did you see this? This was former top Trump aide Flynn paid over $30,000 by Russian top TV, right? Oh, interesting. Michael Flynn role in firm co-led by man who tried to sell material to the KGB. So this is more important than cash. I mean, this actually has more sauce than any of the cash things that these people are saying. Michael Flynn was delayed. He said, you sold your country out. Rubber bullets sting, but they don't last long. Okay. He did. So, this is Flynn's first strike was designed to 1, cripple, 2, to prevent exposure of illegal acts, Hussein White House chain of command through national security intel discovery, install controlled replacement Rogue One McMaster. And that happened, guys. So we're just looking at all this stuff going, wow. And this guy was fired in 23 days. So right here, this is Chris Christie talking about General Flynn saying Christie also told the president that he would never be able to get rid of Flynn like gum on the bottom of your shoe. Man, I want that gum off the bottom of my shoe, Shady Groove. When I said how convenient, remember this, Shady Groove? He blocked me with this post right here. All I said was how convenient. DOJ, Biden's DOJ, quietly drops FARA case against General Flynn's business partner after judge tosses conviction for insufficient evidence. I forgot to put in there after a jury convicted him, okay? So this is what he said. F you POS, you toadies thrive in the underbelly of a dark world, have no clue what you're talking. We know what we're talking about. We are over the target. And Shady Groove. And that brings me the CIA Five Eyes plot to frame Donald Trump. Oh my gosh. I gotta Shady, take it.
All right. So what do you think? What do you all think? Is it your discernment that matters? What we're bringing to you here, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to do something in the spirit of what Bill Cooper was trying to do a long time ago, before the people that we're currently talking about got rid of them. Okay. And the reason that you had the drops that came out, the reason for that was specifically this right now, in my opinion. All of the stuff that was given to you, the raw information was given to you. You were pointed to where it was. Here, this is where this is. This is where they've introduced the FISA. This is the judges. This is how the system works. This is how the FISA court works. All of these different things were given to you as a blueprint or an outline to say, okay, you can see clearly how these people are working against you. But we're trapped in a system. We're all trapped in a system where it's innocent until proven guilty, and innocent until proven guilty means everybody, including corrupt government officials. So there's no way you're ever going to get these people unless you actually prove that they've done the things that you're trying to say that they've done. So you're not going to do that unless people in society understand what happened, so that there can be cause for this to occur. We believe that all of these people that you're currently seeing, that we're currently talking about right now, Alex Jones, Flynn, Roger Stone, and all of these quote unquote Kyle Seraphin sycophants, people out there like Steve Bannon's, all of these people are doing something different than what it is Donald Trump is doing. This is the distinction. They are doing something for themselves. They are not doing something selfless. Donald Trump is doing something selfless by coming out there and being who Donald Trump is, and standing up and standing in the gap and standing up for each and every one of us to say, look, we can do this, and it doesn't matter what happens to me. It doesn't matter what happens to me. I'll tear down the East Wing. It doesn't matter what happens to me. I'm going to close the border. It doesn't matter what happens to me. That's the attitude that we should all be taking. We've been made weak. We've been made weak because we're not confident. We have to be confident in what it is that we see, think, and hear, so that we can be strong in our assertions and we can talk to people about it. And so I think what the whole setup right now, if you talk about, I mean, I can't even go down the list of all of the accounts that are acting like they are somehow pro-Q or pro-Trump and are currently attacking the administration, acting like there's something wrong with it, including Flynn today, saying that something happened. Oh, something happened in March or April. Something happened in March or April, and then the administration changed, and now things are different. Things were going great, and now things are different. That's exactly 100% what it was that I posted last year. I said to you specifically, I reposted the post this morning. I said to you specifically, the military-industrial complex is going to work overtime to make you think that there's something wrong with him, to make you think that there's something wrong with the administration, to make you think that they're not doing it right, to make you think something different than what it is that you think. The moment that someone is trying to do that to you, it's a moment to pause. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring you to that moment to say, okay, we get new information. Where does the new information go? And this is how the new information goes. And right now, with what you're seeing, people platforming. You saw Tucker Carlson platforming Fuentes. You're seeing Alex Jones platforming Seraphin. You're seeing all of these people platforming people. Why are they platforming? You see Candace Owens and platforming people. Why are they doing that? They're doing that in unison for a reason. It is no different. And I've got to make this point very, very clear to you, because it's so easy to see once you see it. It's no different than what the left is doing. They all agree with Antifa. They all agree that Israel is controlling. Antifa thinks Israel is controlling the government. So all these people think that Israel is controlling Donald Trump. So do you understand the dynamic here? There is really one center theme. The one center theme is the man in the arena is the thing that they could never have happen. Donald Trump was the one thing that the system that they built, the globalist system that they built, could never have happened, was an actual populist, an actual America first agenda to be inserted into the White House that had the best interest of the people in mind and didn't need their money. That's the worst thing that could have happened to their whole system. And because it happened, what we're seeing happening today with this whole crew of nuts is happening to Donald Trump, because he's being effective and he's being successful. That's my opinion.
Open your mind, Figure it out yourself. The truth is learned. It's never told. I'm just sharing with you, and Shady and I are sharing with you from experience of how these people operate. They do wrap-up smears, that fake, stupid stuff. Like Jeff wore red shoes, Shady Groove, to go walk a mile in her shoes for a local charity called Safe Space that takes care of battered women. Okay?
They left that part out.
My foundation gave them $5,000 to help them. Okay. Because I've known people that used it. So now I'm wearing red shoes, and that means that's made of baby skin. You see how stupid these people are? They require you to be in this Twitter deep dream and, getting yourself mind controlled on bullshit. Oh, and I had 2 speeding tickets, Shady.
Nice.
Anyways, that's why we try to offer something a little different. We like to go against the grain. We question the narratives that the psychological operators are perpetuating on you guys.
You're the mark.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to understand that whenever they say info war, you are the mark. You are the mind that your mind holds your reality. Your reality doesn't exist outside of you. Your mind, yourself holds your reality. All they need to do is liquefy that. If they can liquefy that, then it will turn back to a solid in a different state of being. You see, you have to prevent that liquefaction. It's okay for you to take information in. It's okay for you to feel overwhelmed, but you've got to dig through it, and you've got to come to your own conclusions. And what they're trying to do is if they keep you chasing the rabbit, you will never come to a conclusion. So the game is to keep you chasing something in front of you, so that it's, if you've been paying attention to Candace, it's one day it's this airline, the next day it's that airline, the next day it's the Egyptians, the next day it's the Israelis. It's literally got to be something every day.
It's what's the PSYOP today, right? Now the PSYOP is, the Democrats are saying that Trump was, complicit with Epstein. President Trump took.
Uh-oh, you got a repeater.
I don't, do I?
Something was. I don't hear it now.
Okay. So basically, guys, what I'm saying is like, this is interesting. I don't even know what I was saying anymore.
Sorry about that. Like, I don't know where that came from. It didn't come from me. I heard it too.
I don't think it came from me either. I was like checking.
Must have been Yeti. Let's blame. Yeah. Can we blame the producer?
Let's blame him.
Remember yesterday
Yeti.
when he yelled at me? He yelled at me on the air.
It was Alex Jones.
Apologize for that.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate it.
Why is he here?
I don't even know.
I'd really rather Alex Jones not be trolling me whenever I'm talking about what an idiot he is.
I know, right?
I'm kidding about that.
Oh, and don't do it, Yeti.
Yeti.
Oh boy, he's going to do it, isn't he? So what we're looking at is just, I support Kash Patel, Dan Bongino. I support the FBI because they are, somebody said, remember you got in an argument yesterday, they're saying they're all criminals. Why do you support the FBI? Kash Patel is the best FBI director that this country has ever seen.
That's what I said. I mean, and I mean it because they're like driving me into a corner. Like the post was deport Kash Patel, Jeff.
Deport Kash Patel.
That's the post from DOQ on Twitter was deport Kash Patel. I responded, the greatest FBI director in American history. Like, can you tell me? Oh, my favorite was J. Edgar Hoover. Like, what are you going to say to that?
How does Shablonsky know about the push the I'll eat your button? Thank you. Don't do it, Yeti. Don't do it.
Never do it.
Oh my God. So we've got so much going on, Shady Groove. I mean, there's so much going on.
I'm
much.
We got up over here.
I know. And let's continue with what our title was, because again, this is another bait and switch title.
We do that too,
because we get caught up, and then I had somebody at my door. But I want to also mention today, guys, we will hold Karoline Leavitt her press conference today. But I want to get into the part 2 of the Donald J. Trump interview with Laura Ingraham.
Ingraham
Accords
coming back. The Ingraham Accord. Oh no.
Maybe if Kash wore a dress, the left would like him banded.
No, good point.
Not do it, but you're probably right. Sadly. I love our audience and welcome newcomers. Bandit, I think you're new as well. Thank you for coming. Great comment. We do interact with you guys as well. Susan Sur says, Aisha R says, I love Kash. I followed his career for decades. He loves this show. Even my book says, I love the MG show. And he even said in the Matrix. So, people don't realize that all of these people that are screaming the loudest have not been censored like this show has. And I'm just going to tell you right now that in 2019, I was put on a list by Hillary Clinton, okay, of pro-POTUS and Q accounts that need to be taken off Twitter. I survived that. I was in Twitter File 16 where Angus King, a sitting senator in Maine, independent, wanted me off Twitter in Twitter File 16. Four of my tweets were censored by CISA and DHS from Jim Jordan's research. I was on that list. 4 tweets, and then now we've got the whole 3-star network coming after us. And by the way, Q told us about Defeat Disinfo, which is General Flynn's McChrystal, his mentor, has 3.4 million paid influencers to go change the narrative. But they're afraid of this show, and they're afraid of you because you can change their change of narrative. How about that, Shady Grove?
And it's good. It's good to mention that what you're saying there, because that 3.4 million digital influencers that they control they are not necessarily part of InfoWars. This is independent of InfoWars. This was built directly to attack Donald Trump by McChrystal in 2015, right around the time that he announced. They had all this set up, so they decided to turn Defeat Disinfo against MAGA. Yeah. General Flynn was part of the operational blueprint to build that.
DQ reminds me, Swallowwell used my tweet on the House floor. No, don't forget that. And that tweet was January 7th, 2021. It says, "What if I told you the Capitol Police were involved?" Wow, interesting. Thank you, DQ. All right, so let's go to Donald J. Trump. This is good.
And I would like to thank everybody. By the way, I would like to thank all of you because the support from you. Without the financial support from each and every one of you, thank you so much. Yeah. Because without that, we would not be here. We would not be on the air. For your subscriptions out there, they're keeping the people subscribed on Rumble. For YouTube, we survived through Red State Talk Radio. Whenever everyone censored us, we went to Red State Talk Radio and built our brand from Telegram. And now we're here back to you to talk to the world again, to recognize and to assert to each and every one of you that the MAGA agenda is Donald Trump. And Donald Trump has chosen central casting. And I don't have a complaint about any of them. I don't have a complaint about Hegseth. I don't have a complaint about Pam Bondi. I don't have a complaint about Jeanine Pirro. And I don't have a complaint about Kash Patel. As a matter of fact, I think they're doing a damn good job. And I'm not sure that I could have done as good a job as all of them are doing if I were in their positions.
Yeah,
that's the way we should be characterizing this.
So press 47, if the people that if you support that, it's a conversation. We can have it. I support exactly Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth, Donald J. Trump for sure. And we're winning, guys. And that's what they're panicking about, really. It's obvious. All right, Donald J. Trump, here we go.
Tell you about it.
BBC? Well, I guess I have to. Why not? Because...
Oh, he's going to sue somebody for defamation. Oh, my God, he's going to sue the BBC? How dare Alexis? Alexis sues for defamation. What's wrong with that? Why can't she do it? How come President Trump can?
They defrauded the public, and they've admitted it, and they're top echelon.
Director General and the CEO.
This is within one of our great allies. This is supposedly our great ally, BBC. The government has a chunk of that one, I guess. But that's a pretty sad event. They actually changed my January 6th speech, which was a beautiful speech, which was a very calming speech, and they made it sound radical. And they actually changed it. What they did was rather incredible. They're showing me the results later on, the results of what they did, how they butchered it up. But it was very dishonest, and the head man quit, and a lot of the other people
We're actually going to play it right now.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight. We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol, And we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them.
But tonight you are saying to our viewers that you will go forward and file a defamation lawsuit against the BBC.
Well, I think I have an obligation to do it because you can't allow people to do that. I couldn't allow 60 Minutes. You know, we settled that one for many millions of dollars, and I couldn't have allowed that to take place. They changed the answer that Kamala gave. They took out the entire answer and they put another answer in. The first answer was election defying. The second answer was not good, but it wasn't a disaster. And they actually did that. They never did it with me.
Which Democrats should Republicans be most worried about going forward in 2028, perhaps?
Well, I wouldn't want to say, because that gives that person an immediate boost. It's like when they say, are you going to attack Venezuela? Are you going to attack this one? Are you going to attack... Yeah. You say, I'm not going to tell you whether or not I am. So I don't want to really give you, but I think this. We are doing phenomenally well. This is the greatest economy we've ever had. Their talking points, oh, of course, sorry. By the way, the only thing is beef. Beef.
Coffee.
Is a little high because the ranchers are doing great. Coffee, we're going to lower some tariffs. We're going to have some coffee come in. We're going to take care of all this stuff very quickly, very easily. It's surgical. It's beautiful to watch. But our costs are way lower. Now, Walmart came out with a statement that they do every year for many, many decades. And they said that a Thanksgiving meal costs 25% less this Thanksgiving, coming up, think of that, than it did last Thanksgiving under Sleepy Joe Biden. That's a 25% reduction. I think that's right. And if you remember when I first came in, the first 2 days I had a news conference, eggs, they were hitting me with eggs. Eggs had quadrupled in price. And they're screaming at me. I said, I just got here. I didn't know about eggs. And Brooke Rollins, our agricultural commissioner, secretary, did a great job. And now eggs are what they were. We got eggs down. We get it all down. But our prices are much lower. Their line is price is affordability. That's the new word, affordability. It's much less expensive under Trump. And I haven't been here long. 9 months is not a long time. But look at what I've done to energy. Look at the price of gasoline going from $4.50 to $2.50 or $2.70. It's going to be $2 gasoline.
People want affordable.
Well, the economy is my thing, and we have the greatest economy in history.
But are Republicans not selling it enough?
Yes, the Republicans don't talk about it.
Yeah, so they need to do a better job on Capitol Hill.
The Democrats give false talk, and the Republicans, and I say it all the time. Republicans have to talk about the fact that prices are down. The Walmart thing is very important. When Walmart says a Thanksgiving meal costs 25% less under Trump than under Biden, to me, that's better than.
So Republicans need to spend more time talking about how great the country is and less time complaining about the Democrats?
We have potentially the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have, again, Biden did in just a short period of time. Biden couldn't raise anything. No investment. I think investment went out of our country. I'm now at almost $18 trillion in 9 months. That's the biggest in the history of the world. China's never done it, never done anywhere near that. And all that money is coming in. It's investment. It's building auto plants. It's building AI plants. By the way, we're leading China by a lot on AI. We have potentially the greatest, already it is. But when these things open up, there's never going to be a country like what we have right now.
And does that mean
the Republicans have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent.
We have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say, A country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way.
Wow.
And coming out.
Wow. He's right. I mean, our school system is absolutely destroyed. And, you know, I think he's got a point here. I know a lot of people are not going to like it, but
don't be offended. Don't be offended whenever it has nothing to do with you. We can't help that what we've done here is we have driven children's minds into gender as opposed to science. Okay. We could have taught them math and science, but instead we taught them that their gender was the most important thing and to never look up from looking down at their pants. Okay. That's exactly what's going on here. And it happened to a whole generation, and then it got capped off with COVID. So now we got to teach smart people from the age of 5. You can't teach 15-year-olds to be smart people whenever they haven't been smart people for the last 10 years.
The deliberate dumbing down of America, guys. That's what happened. Okay. It is a fact. And what was her name again, Shady Groove?
Sanger?
No. That's Planned Parenthood. I'm talking about the lady that did the book on the deliberate dumbing down of America. She nailed it, guys, years ago, guys.
I don't remember her name. Well, we've played that.
Yeah, we've played her before, and we've talked about it before. Somebody will have it in chat here. But here we go. This is part 2. We don't deserve this guy, guys. This guy is amazing. Check it out.
Aren't you impressed by the way he stands up to everything? It's like not just one or two things. It's the way that he stands up for you. This is the reason I'm so animated, and I think Jeff would agree with this. The reason that I'm so animated with quote-unquote righteous indignation over what Donald Trump is doing is because I believe in the man. I personally think that Donald Trump is doing what it is that I would do if I were in the presidency. That's the way you need to characterize it. Okay, the country is built in a way to where any one of us can become the president. So any one of us can like put yourselves in a situation like, what would you do in a common sense situation if situation was X? And you have these two binary choices and you make the right choice. Donald Trump makes the right choice 90% of the time. Who does that in politics? When can you point to an example of another politician that literally makes the right choice commonsensically 90% of the time? You do not have another political example to compare him to. Therefore, he seems like this anomaly that no one can understand. And he seems like this big, everybody acts like it's not. He's doing the right thing.
And by the way, it was Charlotte Iserby Thompson, The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America, a chronological paper trail of her work. It's amazing. It's a big book. Here we go. This is part 2. And we're probably going to go through the break, guys, okay?
Let's do it. For this great audience.
And it'll seat a proper number of people, and the White House will finally have, after 150 years, the ballroom that they wanted. You know what? They've waited 150 years, and the public is paying for nothing. The public is paying for absolutely nothing, where it's all being done by donors. All the way over there, it'll be beautiful. One of the most beautiful in the world. Come on. Okay? You know, a lot of people don't know that. They don't say that there's no cost. That's some room. Weird.
That's unbelievable.
Now I'm going to show you. So this is the Presidential Walk of Fame.
Now, whose idea was this?
My idea. Well, everything's my idea.
Everything's your idea. Okay.
Sadly.
Who's that guy?
That's Barack Hussein Obama.
Okay.
This is Biden right here.
Wait a second. The profile of Biden.
So he's the worst president in the history of our country, and Barack Hussein Obama is top 5, meaning bad.
Are you going to replace that with his actual photo?
No, I don't think so. Look at the faces on these people. Those are serious faces, right?
Oh, that's for sure.
Every one of them's a tough cookie.
Do you think these will stay up after you've left office?
Well, I think they should. On the bottom here, this isn't what yet they're being made. We have a plaque that goes that describes in a couple of hundred words. Mm-hmm. Important, right?
Yeah, very important.
And they're beautiful, beautiful bronze plaques. Goes up under each picture describing. Look at the scene over here, fellas. Look, how beautiful is that? Come on over here, take a look.
This is the new Rose Garden. But
and now you can have news. That's the same stone as the White House. So now you can have news conferences. You can, nobody could stand in the mud.
where did you get the stone?
Different places.
Different places?
Yeah.
Why was
But I'll show you something. This is the equivalent of what I do with the ballroom. I built many ballrooms and many buildings, and that's my greatest strength, actually. Might as well do this. So this room was in terrible shape. This was done by Jackie Kennedy. Jackie Kennedy Onassis, then Jackie Kennedy, I hope. And she took this area, it's called the Palm Court, and here we had one by one little tiles that were all broken, cheap, out of a box. The walls weren't good. We took it, I restored it. I put in new chandeliers. They had lanterns that were terrible.
I remember this room.
Yeah, it was a nothing room.
Yeah.
It was an embarrassment.
There was a seat, a bench right underneath there.
To
Yeah.
come to the Oval Office, you had to go through this room. It was an embarrassment, okay? And I took it down and rebuilt it. Same as she had it, but at a much higher level. And take a look at the floor. Take a look at the marble. So this is called
It is really pretty.
statuary marble. But look at the book ending. Look at the book match. Look how it matches.
That's tough to do.
No, it's very tough. You don't get it. If it's an eighth of an inch off, it's no good.
Is that brass? The brass?
That's two brass strips. But even if you look at the air conditioner vent, it's book matched.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Who can do that? I can do that because I know that, it's even available that you could do that. Very few people can do it. So you take a vent that's supposed to be a piece of aluminum or steel. And the marble man said, I said, do you think you could book match your vent? He said, yeah, look at the other one over there. Book match. But look at the quality of that job.
Where do you think you developed the attention to architectural detail? Like, at what age did you start realizing that's what you could do?
Yeah, I was involved with my father in building and all this stuff, and my father was a builder. So as a little boy, I'd be sitting there playing with blocks, I guess, and my father would be on the phone, and I'd be listening, I guess. And, you listen. I had a father who was very good at building. He was very good at building things, and so am I. I build better than anybody else. Nobody can build like me.
But was his...
You can ask Steve Witkoff, who is the best builder, he will tell you.
Did your dad have the same attention to the specific details that you did?
Well, he built low, moderate income houses.
So it was a different type of
So he didn't
build.
have to do a floor like this. He'd do a floor out of tile, linoleum at the time they used to call it. And it would be a different kind of a thing. But he had a tremendous attention to quality. In other words, if it's going to be even, a regular floor, it would be exactly even, exactly straight. It would fit perfectly. But when you look at that job. Nobody's ever seen it.
Do any of your kids have that same delicate attention to detail that you have? Because that's kind of, you can't really teach that.
I think they do. I think Eric is very good. Don, in a very different way, is good. Ivanka is, Tiffany's very smart. She was a great student, always a great student. They were all great students. Actually, they were all great students. And I think Barron's going to be tremendous at that. Yeah, he's very meticulous.
Is he here?
He is. He's here. He's right upstairs. Want to see him?
Studying, yeah. I'd love to see him.
He's doing a good job. He's tall.
A lot of people
He's
think
a tall one.
A lot of people think he could be the next Trump president.
I don't know. I think,
or a lot of people are wondering which child would be the best.
In a certain way, they all could. Take a look at this, fellas. You want to see detail. So, like the sign. Most people would just do a sign they paint it on the wall. So that's half-inch.
TLK 021984 says, it's like Trump on MTV Cribs.
Thick bronze, carved by a very talented person. And it's brass, it's pure brass. It's half-inch thick brass. And you can't just do that. That's, you look at that, that's quality, right? And then we start with George Washington and we go down to Trump. Pretty cool, right?
Where are your speakers? Because I heard this.
All here.
They're in the bushes?
They're all here.
When did you decide you were a frustrated DJ? How long ago was
Well,
that?
I don't do that much, but I think having good sound is important because we do now news conferences on this space. As you know, you were probably a victim to it. You'd stand in the grass, your high heels would be ruined. The women are, walking out without. So I had to make it a hard surface. So I made it the same color as the White House itself, which worked out great. We just moved the tables. This over here was actually taken out of the East Wing.
Oh, is that right?
This was done by this was carved
Oh, yeah, that was Burgum.
by the carver who did Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, beautiful.
And this was taken from the East one. We took all the good stuff.
Wow, master builder, guys. Amazing attention to detail as well. And we've got the last part of it right here, Shady Groove. We're waiting for Karoline Leavitt, and we will go into that. Go ahead, Shady.
Yeah, I'd just like to just jump in there real quick
Timing.
after that segment to share with you a perspective that we were sharing with you earlier in the show and connect it. There's a guy that pays that much attention to detail, but a guy that he doesn't trust as the head of the FBI. There's a guy that pays that much attention to detail, but a guy that, or a person that he doesn't trust as the Attorney General of the United States of America, the top law enforcement person on the planet. Think about that just for a second. I want you to just consider that, because I know all this stuff is spinning around in everybody's head. Everybody's like, they're trying to insert the doubt. They're trying to say, oh, this possible that this part. No, it's not. It's not possible that a person that pays that much attention to detail. And if you were working for Donald Trump, let me tell you something right now. You think you go in there and you like sit in the chair like this, be all relaxed and laid back, kick back, working for Donald Trump? You're losing your mind. This guy is a perfectionist. Nothing. He doesn't want a hair out of place on anything. That's exactly the reason that you can mathematically deduce that he is not a fool. If Kash Patel were doing the things that they're saying Kash Patel is doing, they're basically saying that Donald Trump is too foolish to recognize it. Yeah. I just want you to make sure everybody's on the same page, because we have to understand this stuff very simply, because you get up here in the ether of thought forms and you start to lose your marbles about what it is that grounds us in where we are as we theorize.
That was a great point, Shady Groove. I totally 100% agree with that. The guy, and he's a DJ, right? When I met him at Mar-a-Lago, he invited me to come over to his table, and he says, "How do you like the music tonight?" And I go, "Well, they don't call you DJT for nothing." And he laughed. It was great. And that was one of the most epic times of my life, right there, dining at Mar-a-Lago, hanging out with Donald J. Trump. Wow. So he does play the music, and that's why he wants the speakers. That's why she kind of gave him a little rip. When were you a frustrated DJ? He's not a frustrated DJ. He performs all the time at Mar-a-Lago. He does the music, guys, on his little iPad. He's eating dinner and he's playing the music, and he turns it up and he turns it down. I mean, the guy's amazing. This is, I think, the final segment. We are waiting for Karoline Leavitt right now. The stream is live, but they'll begin shortly. We'll bring it to you as soon as we get it, Shady Grove.
All right. Sounds great. I'm excited.
He's lost his talent.
Chuck's on the way out. Nope. Make room for Crockett.
Can you confirm that?
That's okay. I think that was the last segment. So,
okay.
Wait. Let me just see. Hang on. Hang on. Now it's all locked up like it was yesterday.
I'm not voting.
All right, here we go. Let me just double check. You can't fast forward, I guess, in Telegram. That's weird, isn't it?
That is odd. I thought you could.
Yeah. So we do this live every day. So we do have issues every now and again. And
sometimes it works.
Sometimes Control Alt.
And the media covers it up.
All right, there we go. I want to try to get out of here, though, because it's like all locked up. So that goes into Jesse. But I think that interview was really good, guys. I mean, there's a gold rush in the Oval Office, and you see it right there. We have the gold, Shady.
we have the gold, and we have the bully pulpit of the presidency, and we are currently, wielding the sword of truth and freedom. Yeah. And it's just very interesting, because what's happening is the people that don't want that sword wielded are trying to weaken the person who is wielding the sword, and we'll tell you here straight up, these people, it's not just Comey, Clapper, and Brennan. Comey, Clapper, and Brennan we know about. We all know their names. We've seen their names. It's all of these people in the background that are connected in a way that nobody really understands, because they haven't done the in-depth analysis of what it is that the network was doing and how they were cooperating. I don't really, you can't convince me for a second that any of these people were ever supportive of Donald Trump, because they're too dirty. A dirty cop is never going to become a clean cop.
Yeah.
You understand that, right? It's like, like a dirty cop is a cop on the take. And there are many dirty cops out there. Whenever I talk about a dirty cop right now, I'm not talking about a police officer. I'm talking about an intel official, a dirty cop, a guy that's on the take. Once the guy's on the take, once the guy says that I'm going to take a rubber bullet so we can help take down Donald Trump, you don't go back from being on the take. And all it is a matter of time till the paperwork comes out. And we just saw the paperwork that said specifically Comey's personal memo from early. Remember, Q told you knowingly. Well, how did Q know knowingly? Because Q somehow understood that there was a note from Comey that said HRC attempting to use Russia to smear Trump.
Yeah.
Before he came out and did his whole little thing, and then they take the whole thing about what Hillary Clinton's getting ready to do and do it for her for a fee. She paid him to launder the dossier, guys. All this stuff came from British intel.
Yeah.
The same British intel, Jeff, that doesn't want us blowing up drug boats, by the way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and Colombia also saying that they're not going to do it as well. Yeah. So we got let's see where we're at now. We covered that. We covered a lot today already, Shady. Holy moly. Wow.
What do you think about that threat? Did you want to?
Oh, let's go over that.
I think that was good.
Because a lot. Okay, so everybody's talking about the Jews, right? Whatever. Okay, it's the dark occult elite, guys. It's not anybody that's a religion of any sort. Okay, or whatever. It's a corrupt government, right? And we all know who Israel, right? So there's 11 drops in Israel. One is Sheriff Israel from Parkland, but I want to go over one specifically before we go over this. This one right here. We are saving Israel for last. Very specific reason, not mentioned a single time. And what we're seeing is stuff with this D-class coming to light. This is on 3/10/2018, Q-Post 916. Whatever happened to the Pakistani guy who worked with the DNC? The president asked in an interview published Thursday by the New York Times. A grand jury in August returned an indictment on the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, charging Awan and his wife, Hina Alvi, with a total of 4 counts, which include federal bank fraud and conspiracy. Awan has pleaded guilty to all charges, not guilty to all charges. Whatever happened to them, Trump, we continued. With two servers that they broke up into 1 million pieces, whatever happened to him? What about Awan? Is Israel involved? We are saving Israel for last. Very specific reason. There's also one other one, since we're talking about Syria. Okay, this is right here. This is the EU. Okay, so knowing what you know now, Israel disclosure moments ago. Authentic. Why is the Secretary of State there? Why is the EU and others pressing to remain in the deal? Think logically. France and Germany came to the White House for the sole purpose of pressing the President of the United States to remain in the deal. 5% shared. POTUS, D-class, Syria, Iran, plus Uranium One connection. Where does the EU fit in? Sick. And then there was one about Syria over here. Let's see. Israeli intelligence stand down. Here's the Jerome Corsi about Mossad, right? Okay.
Jerome Comey.
Jerome Comey. Might as well be. And then there was one about Syria as well, that Israel screwed it up basically because, let's see, disclosure moments ago. Is it this one right here? Here it is. No. Here it is. Syria, hold until conference. And we had the Syrian president in just recently. Hold until confirmation. Military assets on the ground locked out of GZ. Israel strike harmed the ability to prove events. Clown report must be verified. Troop unwind still occur. Have faith. Trust POTUS. Q. But interesting. Israel strike harmed ability to prove events. They were covering up. So we are saving Israel for last, Shady Groove. And I wanted to just point that out before we go over this thread.
And to make it the point even more clear, what we're saving about Israel should be well, it should be a little bit obvious after we show you a couple of these posts from this thread, because you have to understand the dynamic, and you have to understand that what happened with the Jewish people getting there to begin with. World War II was an operation to get the wrong bloodline into Israel. So because of World War II, they were able to get the wrong bloodline into Israel to claim kingdomship over a land that they didn't really have kingdomship over. That occupation is the globalists. It's not Israel. It's not the Jewish people. It is globalists controlling them. Mossad working against Israel, very similar to the way you see the CIA working against America or the CCP working against China. That's right. Say it well?
Yes, absolutely. And you know, the Balfour Agreement was the Rothschilds. Okay, they're very proud of that agreement to establish the state of Israel, if you remember. But this is the thread. And it's Red Pill Drifter. I was very happy to see this. I saw it. I reposted it because I went through it, and let's go through it today.
I was pretty impressed, actually.
Yeah. So the President Trump and Grandmaster chess player against Israel. Are you really paying attention, or did you get lulled into believing the mainstream media clickbait pushed by social media influencers and politicians with large followings? Do you see how and why President Trump is preventing the Greater Israel Project? All roads lead to Babylon. Quote, I will not allow Israel to annex the West Bank. No, I will not allow it. It's not going to happen. Okay, look at right here, Shady Group. There's the map. Right, look at that's where they want Greater Israel. Do you see that? Okay. There's some more right there. The Babylonian Empire. Mapping pretty close there. This is, but Israel tells Trump what to do. Trump made the Gaza ceasefire happen, guys. 15 months of a brutal war, Israel and Hamas agreed to a deal to secure the release of Israeli hostages, and that was done by Trump. But Trump is protecting Israel. Then why did he release the files telling us that the CIA did not want Israel to be implicated? Black pillars are going to struggle with this one after all the doomer grifting for shekels and attention. Focusing on Israel-U.S. relations in these files will be key. But one thing is for certain: JFK was assassinated because he was exposing the Federal Reserve, and it's pay-sewer ran. Rothschilds don't run it; the pay-sewers do, which threatened to topple the entire cabal. Who did it? The entire New World Order and all secret societies conspired together with a massive worldwide conspiracy. And how did they do that? With the pay-sewer bloodline, because they own everything. That's where the money comes from. Here it is. CIA has no objection to declass and or release the CIA information in this document, except brackets, the Israeli intelligence service. Okay, so they're talking about the CIA directors running several intelligence projects with Mossad, essentially. Okay. Certain Rothschild-owned news organizations, like The Economist, show their true feelings every now and again. Okay. Perhaps the greatest danger at present is the incumbency of an American president who despises international norms, who disparages free trade, and who continually flirts with abandoning America's essential role in maintaining the global legal order. Okay. This is the liberal order for the past 70 years is under threat. It was underpinned by a movement to make waging of aggressive war illegal for very good reason. And look at these guys.
And that is economic terrorism. This economic terrorism of liberalism connected to your economic policy, guys. Before the Federal Reserve, there was no liberalism connected to your economic policy. Now, the reason that they had to do that is so that they could become liberal with your economics.
They're attacking both WAN connections on the network, Shady Groove, right now.
Oh, interesting.
Israel has blocked imports and aid from being delivered to Gaza, and President Trump is going against Netanyahu for doing so. Those people are suffering. We got to be good to Gaza. We're going to take good. We're going to take care of that, he said. There's a big need for food and medicine, and we're taking care of it. Asked whether his administration is pushing for the Israelis to allow diverse deliveries of food and medicine, Trump said, we are. But President Trump is controlled by Israel. Look at this interaction here.
By the fate of the Palestinian people. They deserve a far better life. They deserve the...
Wow. Does that look like somebody controlled by Israel to you?
Not somebody that would say that in public.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. And now you see President Trump has the Abraham Accords, where the Middle East is joining in on those accords. The reason why the Middle East is mad at America, because the globalist oil moguls, okay, and the Federal Reserve Bank and Bank of New York and all the other banks that are controlled by the pay-sewer bloodline took the oil, gave them loans they cannot pay back, and screwed them over on their oil. We've covered this on our Fridays shows that are premium content from Pandora's Box, the ultimate unseen hand of the New World Order, Shady.
And that shouldn't surprise this audience, but to understand that the dynamic of economics, okay, where does economics start? Economics starts at the resource, whatever the resource is. So the resources are where the war always comes from. Yeah. War always comes from the resources, lack of or overabundance of, whichever it is. You're either fighting to get that person's or you're fighting to keep yours. One of the two. That's it. So what do? How do you end war? You stop people from manipulating the resources. Okay, that's what we're working on doing. That's what I believe. That
what is Trump running around doing? He's getting the mineral deals, guys.
Correct.
They are not happy.
That's it. That none of them are happy with that. You know why? Because they've already got contracts, Jeff.
Yeah,
they've already got contracts in China, and Rand Paul's already, he's set for life as long as China beats America. But
silent weapons for silent wars. A lot of Q's posts were economic, and most people don't understand economics.
That's right. And if America wins the economic race between America and China, the globalist political elite class in America lose bigly.
Yeah. Rare earths.
All gone.
All gone. So this is still clinging to the Trump is owned by Israel grift. Did you take your fear pill? Where are the X payouts they took from you using surface level research, clickbait, and playing on emotions and fear? Why are these grifters quiet? Think for yourself. Time to own it. Trump cuts contact with Netanyahu. Trump has stopped direct communication with Israel PM Benjamin Netanyahu due to frustration over perceived arrogant and manipulative behavior. Source, Israel Hayom. Israel-U.S. rift widens. Escalating tensions arise from Trump halting talks with Netanyahu due to the disagreements over the Gaza policy and Israel's lack of progress in negotiations. Trump excludes Israel from Middle East plans. Trump is advancing regional strategies, sidelining Israel due to dissatisfaction with Netanyahu's approach. Netanyahu's manipulation concerns Trump's frustrations stem from Netanyahu's attempts to influence U.S. policy. Hegseth cancels Israel visit. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth canceled a planned trip to Israel, aligning with Trump's Middle East tour that excludes Israel. Trump's Middle East trip snubs Israel. Trump's upcoming regional visit omits Israel, signaling a shift from his first-term pro-Israel stance. Gaza policy strains relations. Trump feels disrespected by Netanyahu's handling of Gaza. I mean, look at this. How much source do you need? Do I do it all? Do I read all of them? Or are you getting the hint?
No, that's good. It's good for you to read it, and for people to understand that there is an environment where this nonsense is not being completely gobbled up like Kool-Aid.
Yeah. President Trump is terrible at being controlled by Israel. Trump blocked Israeli proposed joint attack on Iran to pursue nuclear deal. In Jerusalem, Jerusalem sought USA okay for a week of strikes on regime's nuclear facilities next month, but the White House rifts spurred pivot to diplomacy shortly before Netanyahu's visit. When will you all learn? Trump fires 3 pro-Israel officials, Merav Sarin, Eric Traeger, both appointed by Mike Waltz and Morgan Ortagus, considered to be one of the strongest supporters of Israel within the U.S. administration. You all were wrong about Trump and Israel, but will never admit we told you so. These same people are wrong about the rest. Quote, "These are dangerous people influencing President Trump," one senior official said. Quote, "They are sowing suspicion towards Israel and telling Trump that Israel is trying to drag the U.S. into war. This is the new America, and it's deeply concerning to Netanyahu," end quote. Quote, "These removals are not occurring in a vacuum, but rather reflect a broader distancing between Israel and the Trump administration." Unquote, unnamed Israeli officials, Yedith Enroth, said that Netanyahu is deeply troubled by the new developments in Washington, guys. So Trump is controlled by Israel, right, guys?
Doesn't like it to me.
In addition, Trump helped take down Mossad Zionist Epstein Island network in 2009. We've gone over this years ago.
Well, this is Derek, and we're here at the Palm Beach County Courthouse. Just wrapped up the civil trial dealing with Mr. Bradley Edwards, attorney who's represented many of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. First off, thank you so much for your work and for everything you've done.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
This goes to the more salacious rumors, but I would like you to just, whatever you can say on it. Obviously, our current president has had relationships with Epstein in the past, and there are those, Katie Johnson and maybe other victims who have accused Trump of being involved in things like this. In my experience, Trump supporters will not listen to anything along those lines. Obviously, we're not a court of law here right now, but are those claims of that case was dropped? It was dropped before it went to court. In your opinion, as a lawyer and your experience, is there anything you can say as to the validity of those claims, or whether or not there will be any more about that? There will be any more about that?
Nothing at all. The only thing that I can say about President Trump is that he is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, "Let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know," and was very helpful in the information that he gave, and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition of him.
That was in 2009?
That was in 2009. So,
do you know if there's any truth to James Patterson's claims that Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago?
I've definitely heard that.
Yeah.
I definitely heard that, and I don't know that it was Trump himself as opposed to a manager there.
Trump's club, so
yeah,
people credit him.
Trump. I've heard the rumor that Epstein was kicked out of there for allegedly trying to pick up somebody's daughter or something like that. But I think I did chase that down as far as I could, and never was able to.
As Karoline mentioned, we have...
Oh, we got Kash Patel up at the podium today. Let's go ahead and go to Karoline Leavitt. Oh, boy.
That sounds like a hoot nanny.
Here we go. Let's check it out, guys. Wow.
How great is that? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'll talk about on point.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here today. We are going to get to my remarks and Q&A as always, but I do have the FBI Director with me here, Kash Patel. You all know him well, and he's here to provide an update for you all with respect to China. As you know, President Trump had a very successful meeting on his trip to Asia with President Xi, where they discussed the need for China to crack down on fentanyl production and distribution, which ultimately makes its way here to the United States of America. And the FBI Director recently traveled to China following President Trump's meeting to meet with his counsel.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Is Jeff down?
Counterpart in Beijing, and he has a really positive announcement for the American people to share. So the president wanted me to bring the FBI Director out to share that with all of you today.
Wait. The president wanted to bring out the FBI director? That must mean he trusts him. Does it not?
No, Jeff, that means he's putting him in the spotlight.
Kyle Seraphin, Alex Jones, the whole entire network had segments on his plane going to Korea and China and all this other stuff for the president. Okay? Your narrative has just been squashed within 2 minutes of this conference right here.
Boy,
wow.
Boy. What?
Wow.
Well, the whole crew, the whole Baker crew and everybody, they're accusing him of like hiding this stuff, right? Because they think they know something. It automatically means that the FBI director is hiding it, not running into bed. Like, when do these people think that the FBI director is like his job to come out and like with a memo and like update you on where their investigation is? This is like and then they weaponize it and they act like there's something wrong. Like, can you point me to when Christopher Wray or Comey ever came out and gave us an update on like,
We have 64 emails that are marked during class.
Let me introduce you to classified documents.
Yeah, classified. All right. At what point does this difference make?
Nothing.
All right,
marked classified.
Yeah. Going back to Karoline Leavitt, who's introducing Kash Patel on behalf of President Donald J. Trump.
I love this timeline.
I love being right all the time, sadly. I mean, we're always wrong until we're right. Somebody came in here and said that we're propaganda because we are standing firm with Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, the FBI, President Trump, and everybody else. What? So now here we are.
Yeah, I apologize for that. Who could have? Thank you, Alex. Please do apologize for that.
Please, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Karoline. As Karoline mentioned, we have some tremendous news thanks to President Donald J. Trump once again for the American people. As soon as the President of the United States took office, he issued a mandate to rid America of the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that has killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. Thanks to his leadership and direct engagements with China, we set up a framework to execute that mission 8 months ago. Attorney General Bondi immediately thereafter took steps to engage her counterpart in China at the Ministry of Public Security, pursuant to their direct discussions as the FBI Director designated to run counterpoint on this, along with the Secretary of State Rubio and Ambassador Perdue and the team here at the White House. We set forward a path to implement the policy needed to crush the plague of fentanyl. Deputy Attorney General Blanche and our teams have been hard at work ever since, ultimately culminating in my trip to Beijing last week. This was only possible due to President Trump's historic engagement with President Xi just a few short weeks ago that set the stage for today's announcement. At that meeting, the leaders reached an agreement. But just to put this in frame for the American people, a reminder here that nearly 100,000 people died of fentanyl overdoses just last year alone. Here, this year, under this president, the FBI has seized 1,900 kilograms of fentanyl so far. That is a 31% increase from the same time period last year. To put it in perspective, that's enough fentanyl to kill 127 million Americans. Fentanyl precursors are what makes up fentanyl. While we, the interagency, the Department of Justice, have been fighting hard to seize and stop drug traffickers, we must attack fentanyl precursors, the ingredients necessary to make this lethal drug. That was the sole purpose of my trip to China, to eliminate these precursors. And if successful, we would suffocate the drug trafficking organization's ability to manufacture fentanyl in places like Mexico. This was the first time an FBI director has been to China in over a decade and received the audience with his counterpart to address this matter directly. And again, thanks to President Trump's direct engagement with President Xi, the government of China committed fully to my engagement there on the ground in Beijing at a level never seen before. While at Ministry of Public Security headquarters, I met with my counterpart at MPS, where the Chinese government agreed on a plan to stop fentanyl precursors. What does that mean? The People's Republic of China has fully designated and listed all 13 precursors utilized to make fentanyl. Furthermore, they have agreed to control 7 chemical subsidiaries that are also utilized to produce this lethal drug. Effective immediately, essentially, President Trump has shut off the pipeline that creates fentanyl that kills tens of thousands of Americans. These substances are now banned, and they will no longer be utilized by the Mexican drug trafficking organizations or any other DTOs around the world to make this drug. This historic achievement has saved tens of thousands of lives. This historic achievement would not have been possible without the tremendous team of President Trump, the Attorney General, the Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and Ambassador Perdue in China, whose ground-level engagements were imperative to achieving this result. This is yet another example of how President Trump defends the American people, provides security for the American people, and puts the American people first. This is a historic first-in-its-kind achievement by any president to stop the scourge of fentanyl, and it should be championed by every single American. This achievement will save lives. We are thankful for President Trump's steadfast leadership, and this FBI will fearlessly follow in his footsteps to ensure that this mission of safeguarding the American public is achieved every single day. Thank you. Thanks, Caroline.
Kash. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Wow, what do you think about that, guys?
Yeah. Well, I think that right there is part of the reason that they're so animated towards Kash, because they know he's actually doing something. They didn't want him to find those burn bags, Jeff. They didn't want him to stop all this stuff from China, Jeff. They all have their fingers in the cookie jar, and what he's doing is slamming the lid down on them.
Press 47 if you were happy with Kash's assessment, and we'll go from there. Get back to Karoline Leavitt, Shady Roof. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was yummy.
Thank you again, Director Patel. Before we get going, I do have one quick scheduling announcement. Tomorrow, President Trump will be joined by the First Lady in the East Room for an executive order signing aimed at expanding opportunities for education, career development, housing, and other resources for young people transitioning from foster care to adulthood. This is part of the First Lady's Fostering the Future efforts, which are a Be Best initiative. In other news, the Democrats dragged on the government shutdown for 43 days. the longest shutdown in U.S. history. But tonight, thanks to Republicans, the White House is very hopeful that this shutdown is going to come to an end. The damage caused by the Democrats with this reckless government shutdown cannot be forgotten. It is entirely the fault of the Democrat Party. Just look at the vote count. Hundreds of thousands of federal employees have missed their paychecks. Tens of billions in wages and benefits were withheld, impacting vulnerable families. Millions of low-income Americans missed their SNAP benefits. Nearly 20,000 flights at airports across the country were delayed due to staffing shortages, causing Americans to miss family events, vacations, and work obligations. According to Airlines for America, an estimated 5.2 million travelers have had their flights disrupted over the course of the Democrat shutdown. And our economy has lost billions and billions of dollars in economic activity over the course of this shutdown, hurting consumer sentiment and crushing the travel and hospitality industries. According to a CBO estimate, the Democrat shutdown could end up decreasing fourth quarter economic growth by 2 whole percentage points. The Democrat shutdown made it extraordinarily difficult for economists, investors, and policymakers at the Federal Reserve to receive critical government data. The Democrats may have permanently damaged the federal statistical system, with October CPI and jobs reports likely never being released. And all of that economic data released will be permanently impaired, leaving our policymakers at the Fed flying blind at a critical period. It's hard to recap all of this without asking a simple question: why? Why have the Democrats put the American people through this pain for 43 days in a row? And it feels like Groundhog Day being up here again talking about this Democrat shutdown. And the answer to that question is pure partisan politics. They started this shutdown with a ridiculous demand to force taxpayer-funded healthcare benefits to illegal aliens who broke into our country. Even after it was clear President Trump and Republicans would never force American taxpayers to pay for free health care for illegals. In fact, President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill fixed that problem. The Democrats kept dragging this reckless government shutdown on for weeks longer to boost their turnout in an election, perhaps one might guess. That's because the Democrats are totally captured by their far left-wing base, who only care about attacking President Trump, even if it means hurting innocent Americans in our country. The Democrats' weakness and their unwillingness to buck the fringe members of their party dragged this harmful shutdown on for 7 weeks and inflicted massive pain onto the American public. But let's be clear, the clean CR being voted on today in the House of Representatives that will lead to the reopening of the federal government is what President Trump and Republicans have supported from day one. Our troops, air traffic controllers, and federal employees will be back to receiving their regular paychecks. Families in need will get back to receiving their food purchasing assistance, and the people's government will soon be back open for business. President Trump looks forward to finally ending this devastating Democrat shutdown with his signature, and we hope that signing will take place later tonight. On another matter, I want to address the affordability issue that's received a great deal of media attention this past week, which is ironic because it didn't receive that much attention when Joe Biden was here and inflation was at a record high 9%, the worst inflation crisis in modern American history. And President Trump won a landslide election in part to address the affordability issues created by Joe Biden and the Democrats. And that's exactly what President Trump has done since day one of his administration. Since the first day in office and every day since, the Trump administration has taken aggressive action to fix the Biden-created cost of living issues. The notion that the same Democrats who just shut down the federal government to sabotage our economy, rob people of their paychecks, and also helped Joe Biden ratchet up inflation to 9%, are now suddenly affordability champions, that notion is completely absurd. And it's something only the liberal media would have the gall to push. But the reality is that President Trump and his administration have done so much to lower prices and increase the economic prosperity of the American people. And this president and his team of amazing economic advisors are going to keep working on this issue every single day. In less than 10 short months, President Trump signed the largest middle-class tax cuts in American history, including no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security, which will guarantee that next year Americans are going to put more money back into their pockets. The president has completely unleashed American energy dominance to help bring gasoline prices to the lowest in 5 years, and we expect them to continue to decrease. And it has also lowered energy costs overall. There is more work to do. But again, the president's deregulatory and pro-American energy agenda is absolutely going to continue to drive down prices. This formula worked in the president's first term, and we expect that it's going to work again. And this is key because we know energy costs are the #1 driver of inflation. Again, just look at what Joe Biden did to our energy industry over the past 4 years of his administration, and look at what happened to inflation as a result. Everything became more expensive. To lower prescription drug prices and healthcare costs, the president has been working around the clock on this issue. He is obsessed with negotiating these good deals on behalf of the American people to bring down pharmaceutical costs and drug costs for Americans. And he has done so on a number of fronts. You have seen him discuss that in the Oval Office several times. To fuel small businesses, lower their costs, and incentivize hiring, the Trump administration has already cut 30 unnecessary regulations for every new one on the books, which we know will save employers and small businesses across the country thousands of dollars in regulatory burdens. All of these pro-Trump policies are working, and they will continue to work. Wages are rising at the fastest pace of the start of a presidential administration in 60 years. The cost of the typical new mortgage is down by nearly $3,000 per year. There's much work to do, and this administration will continue to do it. But President Trump has already made great progress in cleaning up the economic disaster that was created by Joe Biden. With that, I will take your questions today, and in our new media seat, we have Bev Turner, who works for a new outlet, a UK outlet, but based here in Washington, D.C., GB News. Bev, thank you for being here today. Why don't you kick us off?
Thank you, Caroline. So the clock is ticking on the Friday deadline by which the BBC must retract and apologise for their malicious edit of the president in the documentary shown last year. The recently resigned Director General of the BBC yesterday described the organisation as the very best of society and blamed the enemies of the BBC for this outcome. Also yesterday, a senior government minister launched a fierce defence of the channel in the House of Commons, saying that the broadcaster remains a light on the hill for people all over the world. So, does the president feel that the network is taking the situation seriously? Does he believe that they've shown sufficient regret? Does this strain the relationship between the president and the prime minister? And given that the organisation is publicly funded, is the president prepared to bankrupt the BBC in his pursuit of truth and justice?
Well, thank you, Bev. There's a lot of questions in one there. I will say, I know the president has a very good relationship with Prime Minister Starmer. You have been there, you've seen them in their interactions, you've questioned both leaders in your time joining us when we've gone to United Kingdom a few different times now. However, he has always been very frank when he disagrees with leaders, even whom he has a good relationship with. And the BBC, being a fair news organization, is definitely an outlet. I think these two leaders would disagree. The president has made it very clear that this is a leftist propaganda machine that is unfortunately subsidized by British taxpayers, and he thinks that's extremely unfortunate for the great people of the United Kingdom and Great Britain. And I think that the president was deeply concerned by the editing, the purposeful and dishonest editing of his speech that was so clearly fake news. And he rightfully dubbed that term many years ago, and this is a classic example of that. We see it in the United States all the time. We see it now in the United Kingdom. As you know, the president's external legal counsel has filed a lawsuit against the BBC. We expect that to continue, and whether they apologize or not is up to them. Thanks for being here, Bev. Ouija.
Caroline.
Sure.
I have your statement about the new Epstein emails that have been released by House Democrats.
Oh my God.
From why you believe the emails were made public, can you address their substance? Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. And this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Giuffre. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Giuffre maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing, of why they chose to redact that name of a victim who has already publicly made statements about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and is unfortunately no longer with us. Mary.
Thank you, Karoline. 2 questions on this. In the interest of transparency, why not just...
Dead men tell no tales, right? So now that's right. So the Democrat Oversight Committee went ahead and redacted the name of Virginia Giuffre because she actually came out and said that Donald Trump was appropriate to her and didn't see any wrongdoing. And now here they are making up another story after somebody died, Shady.
From what I'm understanding, I may have it wrong. They're trying to like say that Donald Trump was the name that was redacted or something. Like
no, Virginia Giuffre was redacted.
Yeah, I understand that she was redacted, but the note that's currently on the post is explaining to people that it's her name under it because all the people under the post that was made are trying to act like it was Trump's name that was redacted.
Well, I don't know.
But that's why there's like all this confusion, and this numbnut is up there asking that question.
Gotcha. Because I went to the GOP House Oversight. Let's go ahead and get that real quick.
You got the note. I rated the note as helpful that's under it, but it's still not published.
Okay, Oversight Committee. Here it is right here, GOP Oversight.
Probably show the note to the
Democrats release the files. We need them to release the files. This is the breaking. The Oversight Dems have received new emails from Jeffrey Epstein estate that raise serious questions about Donald Trump and his knowledge of Epstein horrific crimes. These, read them for yourself. Okay, this is Virginia Giuffre that was from her estate, I believe, and it talks about Trump there. Let's go look at the community note. Let's see. This post contains an altered document. The original redacted document submitted by the estate did not have Giuffre redacted per a statement by the GOP Oversight, who also calls into question Democrats' motive behind altering the document before publicly releasing it. This is what the GOP Oversight has said right here. Why did the Democrats cover up the name when the estate didn't redact it in the redacted documents provided to the committee? It's because this victim, Virginia Giuffre, publicly stated that she never witnessed wrongdoing by President Trump. Democrats are trying to create a fake narrative to slander President Trump. Shame on them.
Whenever they wouldn't even report on the many people that were accusing Bill Clinton.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I mean, like they never even would make a report on any of that was going on, but they can like make this leap for like a half a mile all the way across the pond. Yep. They can make this leap that Trump.
These people are just insane, guys. I think I screwed up where I was with the press conference, so give me 1 second.
No, man. Why'd you do that, man? It was like it was right after.
Because I do everything.
It was right. You have all the buttons.
I have power.
Yeah,
oh boy.
I think you were about 10 minutes in. After, it would have been 10 minutes of her.
Let me just go to it real quick.
SNAP benefits. That's completely
inappropriate.
Back a little bit.
Per year. There's much work to do.
Truth and justice.
Well, thank you against the BBC.
Okay, hang on. We're getting it.
Because Jeffrey Epstein was I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing of why they chose to redact that name of a victim who has already publicly made statements about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and is unfortunately no longer with us. Mary.
Thank you, Karoline. 2 questions on this. In the interest of transparency, why not just go ahead, release the full files on Epstein, get this all
released?
This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration ever. In fact, this administration, the Department of Justice, has turned over tens of thousands of documents to the American people. We are cooperating and showing support for the House Oversight Committee. That's part of the reason you are seeing these documents that were released today, because of the House Oversight Committee's and Republicans' efforts to get these out to the public. This administration also moved, the Department of Justice also moved to unseal grand jury testimony, which we know, unfortunately, a judge declined those requests.
A Clinton judge.
So this administration has done more than any.
2 of them.
And it just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party. For now, they're talking about it all of a sudden. because President Trump is in the Oval Office. But when Joe Biden was sitting in there, the Democrats never brought this up. This wasn't an issue that they cared about because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases. They care about trying to score political points against President Trump, as we have, of course, seen with this government shutdown. And this entire thing, again, it's not a coincidence to the American people at home. There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C. And it is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government. This is another distraction campaign by...
She's quite the PSYOP slayer herself. Anita McGroin says, when the FBI prevents terrorist attacks, saves trafficked kids, and stops fentanyl dealers, I don't give a crap about Epstein.
Word.
The Democrat in the liberal media, and it's why I'm being asked questions about Epstein instead of the government reopening because of Republicans and President Trump.
But given your interest in transparency, Karoline, why are White House officials then meeting with Representative Boebert in an effort to try and get her to not sign this petition calling for the release of the files?
Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration are willing to brief members of Congress whenever they please? Doesn't that show our level of transparency? Doesn't that show the level of transparency when we are willing to sit down with members of Congress and address their concerns? That's a defining factor of transparency, having discussions with members of Congress about various issues. And I'm not going to detail conversations that took place in the Situation Room in the press briefing room. Reagan.
I have a question about the government shutdown.
Thank you. I'm glad someone does.
First, on the government shutdown, the shutdown deal reverses the administration's RIPs, and it also prohibits more from happening until the end of January. I'm wondering if the president had input on this element of the deal, and if he's at all disappointed that's going to reverse the downsizing of the federal government that they did during the shutdown.
I mean, look, I think it's about 6,000 workers total. When you look at that in comparison to the reduction in the federal workforce that this administration has done since January to get rid of the waste, the fraud, the abuse, and to reduce the size of our federal bureaucracy, we've done a lot of great work on that front, and we will continue to. But obviously, the president's main priority was to reopen the federal government and get people back to work, and that's what this deal accomplishes.
There's been reports in Israeli media that the U.S. is considering building a temporary military base on the Gaza border. Can you confirm these reports?
So I had a conversation directly with the reporter who wrote this article, and this article was based on a single piece of paper, an inquiry that somebody in the Department of Navy made about an idea that may happen in the future. And this reporter deemed that as an official plan and ran with a story that the United States is looking into it. I checked with the highest levels of the United States federal government. This is not something the United States is interested in being engaged in. It's not something we are currently involved in right now that we will be funding. And the president has been very clear he doesn't want to see boots on the ground with respect to what's happening in the Middle East. We've made great peace. We've made great progress with the peace plan in Gaza, and we want to continue to see that move forward. But I put a comment in that story for a reason. And sometimes we see reporters take a piece of paper like this and just deem it as official policy. And sometimes that misleads people a little bit. Sure.
There's been a question about UK intelligence sharing regarding the drug interdictions involving Venezuelan boats. How will that affect the U.S. military operation? There's been a lot of discussion about the high caliber of the intelligence that has been provided before any of these military actions have taken place.
I've seen that report. Oh, hello. I've seen that report. I'm familiar with the reporting, but
she's got a Yeti.
On intelligence matters, classified intelligence matters, as you know. As for the Trump administration's position on our narco-terrorist campaign in the Caribbean, it is going to continue. And the president has made it very clear he's not going to allow terrorists to bring illegal drugs that kill American citizens into our great country. Sure, John. I'll go to John and then Zolan. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Trump has talked about sending out $2,000 checks to U.S. citizens. Earlier this year, he also talked about sending a Doge dividend. That didn't materialize. Should U.S. citizens expect the $2,000 proposal? Is the White House committed to making that happen?
The White House is committed to making that happen, yes. And we are currently exploring all legal options to get that done. I don't have a timeline for you or any further details, but I can confirm for you that the president made it clear he wants to make it happen. And so his team of economic advisors are looking into it. And when we have an update, we'll provide one. Solon.
You said at the top that one of the costs of the government shutdown was that people missed their SNAP benefits. Can you explain then why the administration went to court to fight the funding of food stamps and SNAP benefits?
So recipients missed their SNAP benefits because the Democrats shut the government down. And they forced the administration to tap into a contingency fund that did not even fund the full entirety of this program. And so then you had an unhinged judge who was trying to dictate from the bench what the executive branch has to pay for and where that money has to come from. That is judicial overreach at its finest. And so that's why the administration pushed back on that. We can't have the judicial branch telling the executive branch that we need to rob the Children Nutrition Fund, which is what this judge was trying to do, to pay for SNAP benefits. That's completely inappropriate and it's unconstitutional. And we've been proven right with that legal argument. But now the good news is, again, thanks to Republicans and in several hours, President Trump, the government is going to be reopened and SNAP recipients are going to receive their full benefits, which is what President Trump has always wanted to do. Stephen.
Why also did you need the judicial process for that? I mean, during this shutdown, didn't the administration have a responsibility to tap into any of those reserves to ensure that essentially
We did. We did tap into it. We did tap into the contingency fund. And then the judge told us, no, you have to get more money from a children's nutrition fund. And we felt that was judicial overreach. You shouldn't tell the president which fund he has to rob because the Democrats are holding the country hostage by shutting down the federal government. Stephen, go ahead.
Well, if the president is considering a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell?
Again, he's answered this repeatedly. It's not something he's talking about or even thinking about at this moment in time. I can assure you of that. Stephen.
Karoline, I've got two questions about New York for you.
Sure.
First,
you always do.
Mayor-elect,
on brand for the New York Post.
Mayor-elect Mamdani, he said that he plans to reach out to President Trump and that, quote, this is a relationship that will be critical. Does the White House have a response to this planned outreach?
It's the first time I'm hearing of it. I'll let the president respond himself to that comment by Mr. Mamdani.
My second question, Jack Schlossberg, the grandson of President Kennedy, announced today that he's running for Congress. He, in the recent past, has referred to his uncle, the HHS secretary, as, quote, a rabid dog, and he has said that the Trump administration is, quote, the most corrupt in American history. Does the White House have a comment on this sort of comment from a rising star in the Democratic Party?
I don't even think such ridiculous comments are worth responding to. Obviously, those things are not true. And Secretary Kennedy is doing a phenomenal job bringing transparency and the gold standard of science back to our healthcare system. Eamon.
Thank you, Karoline. The president's hosting a number of Wall Street CEOs for dinner tonight here at the White House. Can you give us the names of the CEOs who are going to be here and give us a sense of what the president's message to Wall Street is going to be tonight?
I don't have a full list for you in front of me, Eamon. I know you've reported on some names and we've helped you navigate whether those names were truthful or false. But I know the president actually plans to bring some of you into the dinner tonight. So you'll see for yourself in several hours if that's okay with you.
Reporting that the White House is frustrated with Bill Pulte and the rollout of this proposal for a 50-year mortgage. Can you tell us if the White House is frustrated with that rollout and if the White House still supports the idea of a 50-year mortgage for Americans?
This is a proposal that the president himself has commented on. I would refer you to the president's statements, and it's something that the administration is discussing and seriously looking into. Sure. Danny, and then go ahead.
Thank you. Some Democratic members of Congress have invited Britain's former Prince Andrew to testify on the Epstein scandal. I was just wondering if President Trump thinks that former Prince Andrew should indeed come and testify to Congress on that.
I haven't spoken to him about that specific matter, but I can ask him and get back to you.
Testify all he wants to. What do you think he's
on
going to
the government shutdown? The president and House Republicans have made clear they were not going to negotiate health care strategy or policy while the government was shut down. Now, assuming that it reopens tonight, is the president intending to invite any Democrats over to have negotiations over these subsidies or any other plan to bring down the cost of health insurance?
I will just add that, as you pointed out, the Democrats were holding our country hostage to try to negotiate on a healthcare system that they created. Obamacare, as it's famously called, is a system the Democrats created. It is a broken system. It has driven up healthcare costs dramatically in this country. And now they shut the government down to try to fix that system they broke. It doesn't make any sense to us, which is why the president said that's a completely untenable position. However, once the government reopens, the president, as he's always maintained, is absolutely open to having conversations about healthcare. And I think you'll see the president putting forth some really good policy proposals the Democrats should take very seriously to fix, again, the system that they broke. You can't trust the same people who broke the system to fix it. And so the American people will continue to hear from the president on this issue.
Follow up on the question about the $2,000 payments of tariff revenue. The president had also talked about using tariffs to bring down the national debt. Would this be in lieu of that? Like this is now the new way to maybe to use that tariff revenue?
No, the president put out a statement on this clarifying he wants to do both things with the tariff revenue that he's bringing into this country. Trillions of dollars are expected to continue to pour in. And it's part of the reason that the Supreme Court case is so vital for our country's future, to restore our manufacturing industry in this country, to protect our national security, to continue to allow the president to use tariffs as leverage to negotiate economic deals that, again, are good for our national security. And that revenue can then be used for various reasons, to pay down our debt and also perhaps to give these rebate checks back to Americans, which, again, the White House is exploring the legal options of how we can get that done. Catherine, go ahead.
Caroline, Viktor Orban said this week that President Trump has promised Hungary some kind of financial shield. Do you have any details on how that will be structured or what that would look like?
I don't, but I'm happy to check with the National Security Council and get back to you.
One more. You recently said you'd check with President Trump about why he needs to get an MRI on his recent trip to Walter Reed. Do you have any more detail on that?
I do, and I'm glad you asked. As stated in the memo provided on October 10th, President Trump received advanced imaging at Walter Reed Medical Center as part of his routine physical examination. The full results were reviewed by attending radiologists and consultants, and all agreed that President Trump remains in exceptional physical health, which I know all of you will see with your own eyes later this evening when he opens up his dinner to the press, and perhaps you will see him when he signs the bill to reopen the federal government. So stay tuned on plans for that. Thank you, everyone.
Wow. They're still talking.
Brought to you live.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't stop.
These people are insane.
Yeah,
And,
they're like
when are we going to
rattle
have a real press, man?
Yeah, they're like rattle traps in their head, like all night long. It doesn't stop, Well,
Was that last question about President Trump's health?
Yeah.
Why weren't they concerned about Biden's? They were covering it up.
They didn't. Well, they thought Biden was fine.
Oh,
yeah,
knowingly or?
Yeah, like what's the matter with you? Like, what was wrong with Biden? Oh my God. So something that just came out like during the press conference that I saw that's kind of interesting. Everybody's like screaming, yelling, losing their minds over the 50-year mortgage, right? Just the news reporting that the FHFA chief is hinting at a, quote, portable mortgage. Mortgage that would, concept that would, your mortgage would move with you, quote unquote. So isn't that interesting? What a concept to try to get the American people that were effectively our generation that were pushed out of the idea that we could ever buy a house, maybe get some people that could buy a house.
Yep, and we had those two Hodgkin's twins.
They have you mean the Hodgkin's lymphoma twins?
Yeah, those guys acting like the 50-year mortgage is bad, but if you do the numbers, it actually could be good for you. It could save you thousands of dollars per year, and then you can double down your payments. You don't have to take the mortgage either, and it could be a tool for you to gain investment on your properties, right? So, and make it more affordable. It's a tool, okay? It's just a tool in the toolbox, Shady.
Well, the Hodgkin's twins don't need a 50-year mortgage because they have dark money.
My BBC.
Look here, my BBC.
Oh, boy. So there we go. That's our show. Oh, my gosh. I mean, we're over time. It's 2:03 already.
We went late?
Yeah, we went late. And if you guys could please send a Rumble rant or anything, we really appreciate it. We're been very light. I know it's the beginning of the month, but we really need your help. Go to givesendgo.com/helpmgshow as well. Cash App. Not Cash App, Cash App or PayPal at Real MG Show or Real MG Show on both platforms. I want to thank, I think I thanked him earlier. We did get a PayPal donation, and I'm just going to give you the initials because I want to thank you very, very much. And that name is, where's my home activity? I want to thank initials. Where did it go?
That's a lot of initials.
Oh, RTA. Thank you very much. And that's not his first one. That's his second one as well. Thank you, RTA. I appreciate it. And we love you guys very much. Shady Groove, we're out of here.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. And also thank you. Remember, like whenever we go through the break like that, guys, our Yeti doesn't get a bathroom break. So, he held it for you for a whole hour.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, did get nothing.
That's not good, Shady Groove.
Not good.
Not good at all. All right, so I'm going to just go out. Let's play this one. I haven't played this one in a while. God bless you all. See you guys.
Thank you.
See you guys tomorrow on Thursday. Wow, this week is taking a long time, but it's flying by all at the same time. Does that make sense?
Channel. Yes, it is.
God bless you all. See you tomorrow. Thank you, Yeti. Thank you, Shady.
Thank you.
I woke up one morning, the news was ablaze, a shadow on my name in a political maze. Hillary's got a list, and I'm scribbled in red, a threat to the system, or so they say. Oh, Hillary's list, it's a silencing game. Label me disinfo, tarnish my name. Patriots rise, but they're pushing us down. The truth is learned, never told in this town. They call me a foreign voice, a puppet, a fake, but it's just a disguise for the moves they make. MG shows on the air, calling out the scheme. Music of the fight in a patriot's dream. Oh, Hillary's list, it's a silencing game. Label me disinfo, tarnish my name. Patriots rise, but they're pushing us down. The truth is learned, never told in this town. A test run, they whisper, to see what sticks. A media storm or a senator's tricks. MG show music plays, a battle cry rings. The truth is learned, never told in the songs we sing. They're watching us now, every post that I send. A narrative war, they'll fight to the end. MG show's got my back, the truth won't fade. With their rebel sound, a stand must be made. Oh, Hillary's list, it's a silencing game. Label me disinfo, tarnish my name. Patriots rise, but they're pushing us down. The truth is learned, never told in this town. So here's to the rebels, the ones they fear. MG show music blaring loud and clear. Hillary's list won't bury my fight. The truth is learned, never told into the light. A test run, they whisper, to see what sticks. A media storm or a senator's tricks. MG show music plays, a battle cry rings. The truth is learned, never told in the songs we sing. They're watching us now, every post that I send. A narrative war, they'll fight to the end. MG show's got my back, the truth won't fade. With their rebel sound, a stand must be made.
That's right, www.mg.show. Boom.